Good morning, Flosstube. This is Karen from Prom Stitcher. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, and I'm pleased to be here talking to you all today. Getting a little bit better. It's been less than 2 months since my last video, so better than 6 months like I sometimes do. I wanted to tell you that here in Bakersfield, California, where I live, I think we're starting to have spring. Our temperatures have been in the high 60s, low 70s, and a lot of the trees are blooming. Amazing. And but we're sadly low on rain. Again, last year was a good rain year. The year before, I can't remember. I think that was a drought year. That's just kind of the way we go. Makes me very fearful for this summer and all the potential forest fires, because when it's dry, that's what ends up happening, unfortunately. Last year, when we had some forest fires that were, I'm trying to think where, I guess they were up in Northern California, and there was Southern California. I think it was October that the humidity was projected to be very, very low, and there were supposed to be some winds. The Santa Ana winds down in Southern California happen quite a bit during their winters, but we don't usually get those here in Bakersfield. We're a couple hours north, and we don't generally get those winds, but they were afraid that we might, and so our power company decided that they were going to be proactive, and they shut us all down, at least on my part of town. And one thing about it is they did give plenty of notice. I think they started on Monday to warn people that they were possibly going to do that, depending on weather. And by Thursday, they were telling us it was probably going to happen today. And sure enough, I came home from running errands and my power was all off. And that in and of itself for me is not that big of a deal. It's not like I have to be hooked to oxygen, although there are some people in my complex who do. For me, my issue is I have one of those power lift chairs because of my arthritis, and so I wasn't able to use that the whole time. We were without power for 29 hours, and I sleep in my chair at night, and so I had to sleep in a bed like a regular person does, and that doesn't bode well with my arthritis. Very painful, and obviously not a good night's sleep. But I wasn't too worried about my food in my freezer. I figured that it can be replaced, and as long as I'm not opening and closing it, it should stay frozen for quite a while. And it actually did, although I'm still kind of gun-shy about eating any of that stuff. I'm still in the process of getting rid of some of the stuff that was in there, which probably needed to be done anyway. But anyway, I went down that rabbit hole because I was talking about the potential for fires, and this may be another one of those years. And one thing, though, I do have to say, our PG&E company, it stands for Pacific Gas and Electricity, they did give us each, or they credited us $100 on our bill this fall due to the inconvenience and so on. And like I said, for me it wasn't such a big deal other than my own creature comforts, but it had some of the places, some of the small businesses, they lost freezer-fulls of food, and it really was a rough deal. Fortunately, it was just turned off about maybe a mile west of where I live, but the rest of the city of Bakersfield still had power. And so, as long as I could get in my car and go, I could buy food elsewhere, and I could go to get my Starbucks and get my coffee, and so on. So that wasn't an issue. And I could also, while I was driving, I could charge my phone up. So anyway, that was just kind of unbelievable. Between that and the earthquake that we had in July, it was kind of an eventful couple months. Let's see, I want to talk to you about the scarf that I have on. Even though it's spring, I still kind of like something around my neck at times, although I may get warm enough here that I'll have to take it off. But a good friend of mine who used to be in our knitting stitching group that we had here at the complex, she actually did this on a loom. It's woven. And I just think it's so pretty. And it was, I remember admiring it while she was doing it, and then one day she showed up at my house and said, "Here," and I said, "What?" And she said, "I know that you would wear this," and because she knows how much I wear scarves during the winter, and I said, "Oh," and I said, "Those are my favorite colors," and she goes, "I know that too." So anyway, her name is Pat, and I thought it was just a really nice gift that she gave me, and I have worn it an awful lot. It's been great. Okay, let's move forward here. I want to talk a little bit about something that I'm starting to see on Flosstube and you know, in magazines and so on. I guess linen band is starting to have a resurgence. It was popular during the, I guess, 90s, back when I was doing a lot of stitching. And now it's back, and it's kind of fun to see people, "Oh my gosh, that stuff's really neat. You know, what is it? Where can I get it?" I want to show you a couple projects that I have with it. This first one was done by a friend of mine. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She died at a very young age. She died at age 64, right before her 65th birthday. Her name was also Pat, and she stitched this for me. The date on it is 2002, and it says, "Friends and Stitches are friends from life." And so this will always be a very prized, loved stitchery that I have hanging in my house, because Pat did it. And she was my ride to go with me to the different EGA conferences and the different, I'm trying to think, like those cross-stitch festivals up in Sacramento, and also our very last big trip that we did together was we went to Shepherd's Bush to the retreat back in 2014. And I'm so glad we got to go, because that's something that I'll never be able to duplicate, because, you know, we had been friends for so long. We met each other in 1975. Our husbands went to work on the same day at Getty Oil Company in Ventura, and that's how I got to know her. And then, as the oil companies do, you know, there's some transferring around, you know, different places. Our families ended up in Bakersfield. And Pat and Jim, her husband, they moved on to Las Vegas with a cogeneration assignment, and then moved to New Orleans. And both times as families, we went to visit them. And we did a lot of family trips together, and so she will always live in my heart. And you know, I'm so lucky that I have this to remember her by, as well as a lot of other nice things that she did. She knit me a pair of socks, and they were in the laundry every single week for years. And I just really appreciated, you know, the things that she did and the memories we shared. Because we never know, folks. You know, think about Kobe Bryant. You know, I'm sure he didn't get up that morning thinking that was his last day. So anyway, that's the linen band. And then I had done one also, one of the linen band samplers. And here it is. It's not finished yet. I mean, it's stitched, but it's not finished. And this I made a little mark on there. It says SJVSG, and that's San Joaquin Valley Sampler Guild, and that's where we must have done this project. And it's just so pretty, you know, so delicate, and I don't know. I think I probably used floss, but I might have used silk. I just don't know. If this was in a kit, and if it was kitted with silk, I probably used whatever was in there. But I just think that these stitches are so pretty, and they're specialty stitches, and as well as cross stitch. You know, just really, really fun. So stay tuned, folks. You might be seeing more of this type of thing, you know, with the linen band, because it seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Let's see what else. Oh, I also, this is another rewind project, as Crafty Cat calls them, cross stitch rewind. This is another project that I did, and it was with my friend Pat. I think we must have done it in, you know, as we got together stitching and so on. And it was one of the Tristan Brooks, Barbara Jackson, I believe, and it was in one of the needlework magazines. And so, you know, went ahead and did this. And the reason that this motif in the middle is upside down is because it's folded. It's made into a needle case. And of course, I never got mine done, so I still have this, and I'll do something with it someday, or maybe have somebody finish it for me, because finishing is not my thing at all. I love when it's all done, but it's nothing that I do very well. So I wanted to show that. Let's see what else. One other cross stitch rewind is this little Tranquility stitchery. It was designed by Jean Farish, and I always just really liked it. I just thought the colors were so pretty, and it has the quote on there by Ben Franklin. It says, "Be not disturbed at trifles or at accidents common and unavoidable." And I had the foresight to actually put my initials and the date on it, 1988, which was a long time ago, but it's still an oldie but goodie, and I've got it out in my house right now. So that's just really cool too. Let's see. I wanted to follow up on my pillow giveaway that I did last month, or in December. I gave away a bunch of my stitch pillows that I had done through the years. So I think I had close to 50 of them. And I had several of my Hallmark daughters come over and, you know, make selections. And they both took, I don't know, you know, maybe 10 or 12 apiece. And then I've given them to other people. And so pleased. You know, I'm just so happy to have passed those on. You know, what good are they doing? You know, in my case, they were out in containers in the garage, and I wasn't getting them out, and they were just sitting there. And I thought, you know what? These young women, they decorate for the holidays. They might appreciate them. And so I just said to them, come and get whatever you want. And so they did. I have a couple more that I promised to people. Here's one of them. I don't think I showed this last month when I was showing some of the ones. This was one by, I believe, Homespun Collectibles. It was on cards that are kind of like the Prairie Schooler Santa cards that were sold. You know, they were just $1 or $2 a piece, and you know, all different themes. And this was the Scottish Santa, and I thought he was so cute in his kilt with his little little Scotty dog down there. And once again, done on number 7 count Claustern. And with pearl cotton, so once again, it was super easy in terms of getting it done, and so that was really kind of fun. And like I said, this is promised to one of my friends, so I've got this pulled aside for her. Oh, and for Christmas, I bought myself something special. Kept hearing through, you know, with McKenna and Stitcherista. McKenna is the sequin stitcher, about Etoile. And so I just was very, very curious about it. And so I got the whole tin on Amazon, and I think it was about $20-something. It was less expensive than Michael's, because I did a little bargain shopping, and they had a good price. And it is pretty. I mean, so just a delicate sparkle, nothing like Kryneck or Petite Treasure braid, but just enough. And I've heard really good things. People are saying that it's really easy to stitch with, and they don't have the complaints that they do with the threads that are more metallic. So this will be something fun to to experiment with, although I kind of hate to disturb its rainbow. It's just so pretty in there. Oh, and then on Instagram, there's the tribute to Leanne, who passed away, Lost in Floss. And on there, they were running a thing where if you made a request, that a stitcher might see it and they might grant your wish, whatever chart you were, wanting. And I had seen this in, I think, Lost in a Dream. Is that what it's called? I can't remember, but excuse me, it's Crystal and Lisa. And Lisa was stitching this. It's called Winter Cometh, and it's by Summer House Stitch Works. And my sweet friend, Crafty Cat Stitcher, spotted that this was one that I wanted, and she went ahead and she granted my wish, which was just so sweet. And I'm just enthralled with this. I keep pulling it out and looking at it. But the interesting thing is the colors are nothing like they're showing on here. And, in fact, they're on the stitchery, they're saying that they're using all DMC. They're using 823, which is a blue navy, then a gray green, 926, and then the brown, drab brown, is 610. And to me, I keep thinking it's more of a light green, almost lime green, and also a lavender is what I see. And so I'm kind of thinking that I might go ahead and I might change my colors to go along with this, because I mean, maybe I'll try and see what I think with the called for colors. But if it's not what my eye is seeing on that photo, I am probably going to change. And I think this one will be really fun. It's not, huge or anything. It's only 118 by 88, and so it's not going to be that giant of a project. And I just think it's so pretty. So here it is again, if you want to see it a little bit closer. So that's that one. So that was a really neat thing. And thank you, Kathy Crafty Cat. I really appreciate it just so much. What else? I think I want to show you my current whip, and then I want to talk about what I'm all into, and then I'll go ahead and finish this up, because once again, I have trouble uploading. Here is my current project, and I've been plodding along with this for I don't know how long, but just can't stitch more than a little bit. So this is Baked Goods, and it's by Little House Needleworks. And here is what I've gotten done so far. I'm working on the cupcake, which is off to the side of the pie. And then I have a little bit of like lace around the top and the side that I may do or may not do. Also have a few more snowflakes. And then a couple other little things, like I need to, I'm going to put beads in the gingerbread man's eyes, and also I think I'd like to bead that poinsettia middle with kind of a gold bead. So anyway, making progress. I can just stitch maybe 20 or 25 stitches at a time, and then my fingers have had enough. But you know what? 25 stitches is more than I had before that. So I'm all right with that. That's what I'll have to keep doing. I'm just not going to be able to do any BAPs anymore. That's not going to work, because I just can't do it. What I'm all into. Oh yes, I received my sample ballot from the California voting folks, and I'm getting ready to submit it. And I'm not going to talk about how I voted, and that's everybody's own business. But please, people, do vote. It's really, really important, and as American citizens, we need to demonstrate that. We need to participate in our government, and it's just going to be a really important thing. And of course, it's the primary that I'm voting for right now. Last but not least, I was watching Priscilla and Chelsea on Saturday, and I overheard Priscilla say that one of the things she does with her PDF charts that she gets is she forwards them on to her book app on her phone or her tablet, whatever she uses. And I went, that's how to organize them. And it's my understanding that if it's on the book one, it'll stay open while you stitch. And so you don't necessarily have to, print it off and get a paper copy of it. And so I went ahead and did that, and I'm so pleased. Every day I open up my book app and I look at all my different charts in there, and I'm just so pleased with myself that I was able to do it. And now I have access to those, and they won't get lost in my email, or I won't forget about them or anything like that. So it's really a good thing. And I know a fair amount about the computer, because I used one for years at work, but they're huge. It's all self-taught, or somebody showed me how to do something at work. And so there are huge gaps in my knowledge when it comes to the computer. And so something as simple as that, all I needed to hear was how to do it. And my son's a graphic artist, and I keep telling him, just write me a recipe. Tell me how to do these things, and then I won't have to bug you anymore if you'll just write them down. And then he gets all disgusted and pushes me over and just does it himself, and then I never learn. So anyway, just one of those things. So an old dog can learn some new tricks, but I just, they just have to remember that they have to write us a recipe on how to do things. Well, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wind this up. I'm up over 20 minutes, and my YouTubes do not like to upload here at home. I have to get out from underneath my Wi-Fi. I have to go out in the car and take a trip down the road for a little while to get them to upload. So I want to wish you a happy early spring, and also tell you, as far as needlework goes, keep those needles flying. Love you guys. Bye-bye.